Hello, this is Fact Drops, your go-to channel for breaking down trending news. Today's trending story is all about Earth Day 2025 and what it tells us about where the world, and especially the UK, stands on climate change. This year marks the 55th anniversary of Earth Day, under the powerful theme, Our Power, Our Planet. More than 1 billion people across over 190 countries came together to push for renewable energy and serious climate action. Now, that might sound like a distant global movement, but make no mistake, it's something that affects each and every one of us. Why does this matter? Because climate change isn't a future problem anymore. It's already here. It's in our rising energy bills. It's at the supermarket. And it's showing up in extreme weather events. This is no longer just an environmental issue. It's a daily reality. In today's video, we'll walk you through the global movement behind Earth Day 2025. Take a closer look at how people in the UK are thinking and feeling about climate change. And we'll even dive into what people are saying online. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of how climate action is evolving, and why it really matters. Stay ahead of the latest trends and breaking news with Fact Drops. We bring you in-depth analysis of the most important stories shaping the world today. Don't miss out, subscribe now and turn on notifications to stay updated. Let's break it down. On April 22nd, Earth Day turned 55. This year's message, Our Power, Our Planet, called for a massive, global push toward renewable energy and away from fossil fuels. In the UK, a YouGov survey found that 84% of the public now believe climate change is real. That's a big deal. It means climate awareness is no longer niche. It's mainstream. And this isn't just from one source. Multiple reliable outlets like NASA, BBC, and The Guardian have been covering these shifts. So how did we get here? Earth Day began back in 1970, sparked by growing public concern over pollution in the 1960s. That first Earth Day led to major changes, like the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency in the US and new laws to protect air and water. But in 2025, the challenges are far greater. We're now dealing with rising global temperatures, floods, wildfires, you name it. And those most affected are often the most vulnerable. This has sparked new calls for what's known as environmental justice, making sure climate solutions are fair and inclusive. But there's a twist. Economic struggles, especially rising living costs, are pulling people in the other direction. On forums like Reddit, you'll see people saying, I want to care, but I'm just trying to survive right now. That tension between wanting to act and feeling powerless, it's real, and it's everywhere. So let's talk about what this actually means for us. Short term, we'll likely see more policies encouraging green energy, electric vehicles, and low-waste lifestyles. Things like plastic bans, tax incentives for solar panels, and more accessible public transport. Long-term, we're talking about a real shift. Reimagining our cities, our jobs, our daily lives around sustainability. The way we heat our homes, the way we travel, the products we buy. It's all going to evolve. And the earlier we adapt, the better. And here's the thing. It's not just on governments and big companies. Everyday choices matter. Cutting down waste, supporting local food, choosing greener transport. They may seem small, but when millions of us do it, it makes a massive difference. Next, let's take a look at what people are saying online. You're asking a generation of people who are the first to ever have less quality of life than their parents, who have been fucked over since birth, with once-in-a-lifetime event after once-in-a-lifetime event, to willingly give up the few comforts they've been able to scrape for themselves. Lots more people would be on board if the upper classes went first and led by example. I'll take it seriously when I see MPs getting the bus to work and Parliament ban meat. This is my stance. I can recycle my waste. Turn the tap off when I brush my teeth. Have 3-minute showers. Buy less and choose well. Wrap up warm instead of having the heating on. Walk instead of drive, etc. And at the same time, there is a handful of people out there with several heated outdoor pools who indulge in luxury spa sessions at home, who overconsume, who produce more waste than my entire street with their banquets, who not only heat their homes in winter but cool them in summer, who pay millions to spend 5 minutes in space for a laugh. Apparently oil companies helped popularize the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle, so they get to literally destroy the planet for a little bit of profit. And I have to pay 15p for a paper bag at M&S? Fuck the fuck. Right fucking off. The phrase reduce, reuse, recycle was supposed to be followed in that order. Reduce your consumption and waste. Reuse what you can. And as a last resort, recycle. Instead, everyone has gone straight to recycle because it's easier. I work with vintage and second-hand, and the textile recycle places are packed full of shit from Shine, Temu, Primark, Boohoo, etc. Again, that's the fault of corporations though. Quality has been getting progressively shitter. So clothes don't last anymore. So we have to keep buying them. This idea that climate change is going to be solved by having 2m shorter showers is obviously nonsense. It's not merely the sum of loads of individuals releasing fossil fuels in their day-to-day lives. It's about the economic structures as a whole. I mean, it depends, really. This idea that climate change is going to be solved by having 2m shorter showers is obviously nonsense. It's not merely the sum of loads of individuals releasing fossil fuels in their day-to-day lives. It's about the economic structures as a whole. I have been known to lie in the road on occasions, but I live in a quiet cul-de-sac. It's not all that effective, to be honest. Not many. Really. When the whole lying in the road fad happened, I thought I'd give it a go. Was there for 2 hours, and no one came along. Got up eventually, as I needed a was. Bold, brave, and valiant. We need more people like you, my friend. Climate change is great. It helps L. If there's one thing we have too much of in this country, it's sunlight. This is by far the most ridiculous idea I have ever seen. It will harm us all. It seems to me to be an attempt to controllably replace those emissions which were reigning in global warming, just offsetting unintended consequences. The climate is certainly complex enough that decarbonization can make things worse as well as better. Christ, we're really slipping down the rabbit hole of stupid here. I'm old enough to remember that not being a thing. Why is it though? Wouldn't you say that massively increasing the carbon levels in the atmosphere is a crazier idea? We've already done that. And we're fucked. Need to start doing research on ways to get us out of this mess. Yeah, but wouldn't less sunlight impact crops and solar panels? I don't know anything about this though, so maybe I'm wrong. But on the surface, it doesn't seem very sensible. It would have a negligible impact on crops and solar panels. A couple of percent less energy. Solar panels, nuclear, public transport, etc. would have been a good idea decades ago. They're still a good idea now. Don't get me wrong. Every 0.1 degree counts. But we're currently headed for a roughly 3 degree above industrial average world. You can have a search online what that means if you want. Think billions of deaths. Potential collapse of society. This is the 11th hour. Right now. We need a Hail Mary. Okay, but why GPT? Why cannot this job be replaced with an app? Actually, what's the UK obsession with doing shit on the telephone? It must be one of the most inefficient ways of doing crap. Great technological advancement. If you're in 1950, though. Because being the gatekeeper is literally part of their job. They receive triage training specifically for this. But plenty of people continue to feel entitled to a GP appointment for something that can be easily treated at home or by a pharmacist. But the investors who poured all that money into machine learning startups need to get their money back somehow. Otherwise they'd have to admit the whole AI thing they bought into was overhyped. And all they've got to show for it are energy-intensive search engines. To wrap it up, Earth Day 2025 reminded us that climate action is not a side issue. It's front and center. And whether we like it or not, it's a defining challenge of our time. People in the UK and around the world are waking up to that fact. Now, the question is, what do we do with that awareness? What actions will we take? Individually and together? So tell me, do you think we're doing enough to protect our planet? Let's talk about it. That's it for today's update. Thanks for watching. We'll continue to bring you the latest news and in-depth analysis on the biggest trends shaping the world today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do you think this news will impact you? Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.